Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Poets Laureate of Canada and our good friend, the Makar of Scotland.
Social history. My mother never had sex with anyone else except my father. A week before her 3-day leave to get married, my mother was examined by the army doctor and pronounced Virgo intacta. 24 years old and Virgo intacta, an unusual thing in the Women's Army Corps, an unusual thing in wartime, if you believe even half of what you read in the social history books. And the joke was, I wasn't even sure your dad was going to make it. Rumour was they were going to cancel all leave prior to D-Day. So it was touch and go till the last minute. The sex my mother could have had but didn't sounded fantastic. Clever Jewish boys from the East End of London whirled her round the dance floors, niftily slow foxtrotting her into corners, telling her the khaki matched her eyes. A soldier in a darkened carriage on a slow train wept on her shoulder when he told her that he'd lost his brother in North Africa. 2 naval ratings on Margate Pier slipped a string of cultured pearls in her pocket, said, "Miss, we just found these on the beach and you are so pretty, we thought you ought to have them." She had a very close and very tender friendship with a lovely, lovely, gentle NCO from the north of England who told her she was the image of his girlfriend. An Italian prisoner of war sketched her portrait, and her sister, who had her eye on him, was quite put out. She didn't care for Yanks, but that didn't stop them trying. A free Frenchman fell in love with her, a Polish Air Forceman proposed. Any Scotsman she met down there had lovely, educated accents and tended to be top brass. She mixed with folk from all over, which was the beauty of the services and the best of the party that was wartime, while the buzz bombs overhead didn't quite cut out. She was quite capable of downing her half of bitter and rolling out the barrel with all the other girls without ending up squiffy up against the wall afterwards with her knickers down, unlike some. When they all rolled back to barracks late, swinging their lisle-stockinged legs from the tailgate of a lorry, singing Apple Blossom Time, military policemen turned a blind eye in exchange for nothing more than a smile. Officers messed around with her in the blackout, but then my mother told them she was engaged to be married to my father, and they acted like the officers and gentlemen they were and backed off sharpish. So my mother never had sex with anyone else except my father, which was a source of pride to her, being of her generation, as it would have been a source of shame to me, being of mine.
This one's for my lovers, who were once the suns in my skies. I'm sorry I never ravished you enough and that there is nothing to be done about the passing of time. Ravish your lover while you still love her. Remember your lovers, but especially don't forget them. When they are standing in your bedroom with their hair disheveled and their clothes strewn, notice them as they stand before you, as there they lie. Tell them that you're touched 100 times. Of every inch, take a picture with your unabashed eye, 'cause this will change as pictures fade, so does love die. Smell your lovers, their wide open skin, like bare shoulders before toast in the morning. Pheromones will be what you don't know you miss when you're standing beside exes feeling suddenly nostalgic. Could be soap, could be freshly washed clothes. Most likely, though, it's the mix of hidden chemicals, that silent scent that perfumers will never get, but you will remember it long after love goes, so hold your lovers close. When you are drifting off, sharing oxygen and oxytocin both. Memorize the napes of their necks, the crooks of their wrists, the way their breathing rises and falls. Knees only get cuddled in one kind of spot, and they will miss this once the spoon is gone. Like you will miss the puzzle when you don't get to be a part, and so while you are, with limbs entangled in ways that warm your heart, remember to notice this, so that the last night doesn't go by without you noticing. And only in the sunshine do you know these things, while you pine for one more chance to lay with your loved one when night is falling. This is a plea, mostly for me, so I may remember next time I am to be a puzzle piece. Also, it is for the lovers I have held and known, who have been my comforts as well as my abrasions. I remember the days our skin was first waking, and of the love we made then, like we were scorched earth and it was raining. Thank you.
"100 deeds with swashes buckled, all but ready to climb inside that black Silverado idling in the harbor's parking lot." The license plate said, "Miracles." For the distant prospect of half-tone hills, quarter-deck seas, pine-covered islands, beguiling brooks, and recycled rain. The sunning milk snake senses the bulk of our movement. She slips inside the rock crib as we cross the footbridge. The hidden soil of deep affection, the iris corms multiply. Taste is complicit with desire, and the last strawberries of July. The Wapus wine amber beneath the Landon Bay wishing tree. Later we took in fireworks from the top of the Chown parking garage. Why not buy rings for each other? Together we could craft new narratives different readers will each read differently. Romance and foolishness, fresh pasta. I could go on like this all night, if you let me.
George Eliot Clark, Poet Laureate of Toronto, originally from Halifax. Heligonia Market Cry. I got hallelujah, watermelons, virginal pears, virtuous corn, munit hag et altera winkit, luscious fat ass, watermelons, plump pears, big butt corn, Lagusta Esther Hardin, come and get it, cucumbers, hard to trot, glass fresh cucumbers. Voulez-vous coucher avec moi? Watermelons! Go to church and get redeemed. Watermelons! Oh, peccatori in verita. Good God, cucumbers, righteous pears, golden Baptist corn. Thy rule is Dr. I like their cough. I got sluttish watermelons, sinful cucumbers, jailbait pears, planted by Big Mouth Chaucer and picked by Sugar Shakespeare. Merci.
Hello, my name is Bruce Meyer. I'm the Poet Laureate of Barrie, Ontario. Why the dog wags its tail. The simple answer is economy. Whenever a moment requires yes, whenever sunlight fills a bouncing ball, or a treat is offered as reward, or praise is worthy of the look he gives, good boy wants to dance inside. but he is clever, subtle, knowing, and reserved. He also is cautious because the slightest move might shake the earth or startle birds. He desires the peace you find inside your souls. He wants your heart to find its God. So he sits because he knows you know the sound of wind when it is sleeping, or the sound of a blossom as it fades. He hears all you choose to ignore, a pebble tossed in a zen still pool. He is keeping time to the eternal still. Study him carefully. His tongue is out. It is tasting the universe as it all slides by. The dog wags because earth is moving, saves his energy for a leap of faith when it spins too fast and you must get off. He'll go first if you're afraid, and he'll stop at nothing to pull you free. He knows you better than you know your own soul, and he will not lose you if you lose yourself. Thank you.
John B. Lee, Poet Laureate of Norfolk County and Poet Laureate of the city of Brantford. My dog poem is sort of sniffing. Oh, thank you. My dog poem is sniffing Bruce's dog poem. This poem is called Teaching My Dog to Read, the First Lesson. What we cannot see with our eyes, hawks see. What we cannot hear with our ears, owls hear. What we cannot smell with our noses, dogs smell. What we cannot feel with our flesh, butterflies feel. What we cannot taste with our tongues, snakes taste. And this is the moon in the womb, the stone at the center of sleep, the red that we draw from a dream, the ribbon of life in the light of old tides, where what's deep as a heart in the dark with your palm to the bone of your breast, you might touch what the hand cannot hold.
I'm Marty Gervais from City of Windsor, Poet Laureate there. It's the home of good Canadian whiskey and rusted American cars. And this poem is for my French-Canadian family in a place called Pointe-aux-Roches, which is outside of Windsor. It's called Sweet Hope. I sit in my car by the side of the road and watch the combine shave this field of winter wheat, golden and flat under a dreamy, dark summer sky. I'm going to make some changes. That farmer will be my grandfather. He will float over this landscape, straw hat, coveralls, pipe clenched in his mouth. I will have him wave to me from where I sit at the road's edge. I will shift the barns and chicken coop and outhouse closer to the house, haul out the wagons, and have my grandfather lead the workhorses into the farmyard. I will put back the oak trees cut down years ago in that empty pasture where we picnicked after church. I will be 6 again, lumber in a summer storm and hurry my grandmother across the yard to shut the enormous barn doors against wind and rain. I will put laughter back into her mouth as she scoops up my limp body that has collapsed abruptly because the sky has erupted into sudden thunder. I will paint reflections in her glasses that show wind-swept trees and spooked barn owls as we race back to the house. I will exchange the words in my grandfather's frown as he stands by the back steps to tell my mother, who has driven an hour in the still, dark dawn, to hear him say, "Ta mère est morte." Instead, my grandmother will be in the kitchen, loading the wood stove and turning to my mother and holding her for that instant. I will stop time here and now and to move all these pieces into place, the perfect farm life in this imagined game. I will open the eyes of those I love and breathe sweet hope into their limbs and words. I will let prayers finally have their day. Thank you.
Don Kerr, I'm the only provincial poet laureate of Saskatchewan. And this is the Buchanan Ball Tournament. Team in the field is the 49ers, which is anybody along Highway 49, Priestfield, Sturgis, Norquay, Pelly. Coaching at third is the Pierogi King of Kenora, 300 pounds and most of it tied in by his belt. When he lies down, he's a provincial monument. Back of first, two Gophers watch the game. Sharp grounder down the line, pops them back into their dugout. Guy says he thinks they're hungry and buys them a hot dog. They think it's another Gopher. Backstop's made of telephone poles, chewed off at the top, leaning this way and that, and tied together with chicken wire. Feels about as level as God left it, and a section away the town of Buchanan hardly makes a dent in the sky. Wear a ball cap in the sun after four games, your face under the peak burns in the shape of a crescent, and you look like a watermelon rind. CNR freight heading west past third, empty lumber yards roll into Prince Rupert, 74 cars and 4 cabooses, this is a long time ago. In the leaning sun, brakemen like to get off and watch a game. In Saskatoon, Gordie Howe hit the longest single home run in the history of softball. Over the right field fence at Cairns Field into a CPR freight car, and it traveled all the way to Vancouver. Down to the finals after a day of eating sun, dust, hot dogs, and we by a little want one side to win as the sun going west over left field starts to tip the prairie into another day, and even the gopher casts a shadow. Back home at the lake, we'll swim off the sun and dust and think no one deserves big beer and big whiskey like ourselves, who paid attention to the progress of one entire day.
Hi, Edmonton. I'm Anna Marie Sewell, and I think you know. That I wanted to write you a poem. That I wanted to write you a poem to tell you how beautiful it is to have one thread to hang one's heart on. To have one thread to tie us to the stars, to have one thread to tie us to the bedrock beneath. That I wanted to write you a poem to tell you how terrible it is to cry for what we have lost. Ça qu'on manque, what is gone. But gepni te tamanej, dan tele ulnudik, nigamajtud. We all gather together. And suddenly the words have gone, the words have flown. The words are so many damn magpies on the lawn, they have the cats scared. And the cat's the knot of fear inside, the one that says you'll never get a rhyme for magpie or cat or sakon monk, let alone to know how to bring the words from far away, from under the ground, from hanging by the star's thread, to a place where we can understand who we are. But apokun matul tinesh tangisuk telikaluk sikulaus kamuk. I hear the voice of Georgie Paul and all the boys down on the Red Bank Reserve singing. After all, what are we here for but to get together? After all, wherever we are, Edmonton, Scotland, close together, far apart, after all, what are we but a light hung from the stars, springing from the earth below the earth? It doesn't matter I can't write this poem, and I have no words to give you tonight. It doesn't matter because here we are anyway. Miigwech.
Hi, I'm Chris Demeanor. I'm from Calgary. for you, Liz. I was looking for cold cuts on Canada Day, but the shops were closed and I was headed home when a car backfired and my vision strayed to a mini mall across the street, a black sign on white saying Dr. Meat. Inside I saw no meat, just cans and dried goods on plywood shelves, the prices in red felt, saltine crackers, jam, 2 pairs of shoes and scraps of fabric, not much more, part bunker, part junk store. Dr. Meat was all in blue. I said, I'm looking for sandwich meat, but it looks like you might not have that. He said, I don't understand what you're saying. What are you driving at? I said, I'm looking for sandwich meat, but it looks like you might not have that. He said, I don't understand what you're saying. What are you driving at? I said, some kind of meat to put in sandwiches like roast beef or salami. Salami, he cried. Oh, yes, yes, salami. And suddenly he was descending, intent on a half salami in his cooler next to a cluster of plastic grapes. Say how much you want, say thick or thin, but first, listen, do you believe that back in Iraq I was a doctor of medicine? He took an oath to serve the sick, but here he stands instead. It's easier to serve things that are already dead. For years he endured, he cured Sunni, Shia, Kurd. He had a practice into Crete. Now he's Dr. Meat. He took out rubber gloves and snapped them on his hands. I thought, great, he could check my prostate. But he said, I also have sausage from Sudan, Tunisia, Lebanon. Lebanon, I said. Yes, yes, but no pig, no pork, no ham. I am a religious man. Here it is, done, 182 grams. I didn't have to say it. Dr. Meat, you didn't even weigh it. Then he leaned in like he was confiding in a lifelong confidant. This one's on me, and all the meat's halal. He had healed his country in the first Gulf War. He'd seen more blood than an abattoir floor. A cousin in Calgary sponsored the doctor, got him out of Iraq and the visa fast-tracked. But reality of life in his adopted nation deflated the elation and expectation. His credentials could not be transferred, was the word from the Canadian Medical Association. I backed out slowly, my sliced salami packed neatly in styrofoam and plastic wrap. Profuse thank yous and a promise to return. He said, business is slow. It's as though you people are always on vacation. I said, it only feels that way, Dr. Meat. A side effect of Dominion's botched operation. He took an oath to serve the sick, but here he stands instead. It's easier to serve things that are already dead. For years he endured, he cured Sunni, Shia, Kurd. He had a practice into Crete. Now he's Dr. Meat.
I am Evelyn Lau from Vancouver. Snow Globe City. Weeks of snow. The plants freeze, green leaves darken to raisin, curl at the edges as if scorched. The ink in my pen thickens, won't write. At night, we lie under a snowdrift of duvets, not moving, conserving the flickering flame of heat in our bodies. One wrong move and it's bare skin on a patch of ice. The fire in my brain all night, the conflagration. 5 blocks away, a homeless woman burns in her cart, the stingy heat of a candle lighting up her quilts and cardboard, her long red hair. The most beautiful thing I've seen, a rose of flame blossoming in blue water, in snow. The crack and splinter of ice, a canopy of powder slipping to the sidewalk. You love how it muffles everything, stifles the sounds of the city, the gunshots going off downtown, the screams. The metal grid burning, fluff in the air, the eiderdown sky. Bundled strangers passing, eyes down, styrofoam cups steaming in their hands. Pyramids of coats and hats and gloves and scarves, goose feathers in my nose. Tomorrow, the bridge will be coated in ice the color of concrete. We will slip and slide across, cautious as the elderly, oyster gray ocean sluggish below. A swipe of charcoal on a cement wall, the only record of the woman's passing, the ghost shape of her life as it went up in flames. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Janet Rogers, Poet Laureate of Victoria. Angel, touch your wings so lightly to earth. Feel the magnetic pull that keeps me here. Angel, understand my love affair with land extends beyond flesh, generations, and creation. My love affair began when I was like you, an anchorless entity, weightless spirit devolved from solids only to serve those below. Angel, touch the ground once, you'll want more and want to stay. Trade your wings for feet, plant them firmly on earth, and tell me, not if, but how much you've wanted this. Angel, cease to fly and sit with me by the fire. Here you will confidently confess disappointments in heaven, the endless, thankless acts like a prison, chains so ready to cast off forever. Rest, angel. Let the good shepherd tend to his flocks. Rest your weary wings. Tell me everything. Come down, angel, to me. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Fred Waugh, Canada's 5th Parliamentary Poet Laureate. Now I know I have a heart because it's broken, but should I fix it now to keep it stroken? Listen closely to the name I got because it's spoken and calls out to me, to stoke heart's heat so hot I smell it smokin'. Or could this clock made up of parts be jokin', that missin' spark a misread gap provokin', and little sock of baby breath not chokin', the piggy bank of namings more than tokens? Not just the gossip love is always cloaked in, nor all the meaning text is usually soaked in, but roast potatoes for a tender button, so much depends upon the things unspoken. And if the heart is just this clock around which clusters all that's not, but something sighs my name, and all that loose change sets the bloody language right, at least the words can breathe, and hasten slowly, stops me at my selves. Right now I'll have an egg because I know its yolk's inside, and what I have to do is crack it open. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are your Poets Laureate.